Hi guys, it's June 7th, 2018. I want to give you an update on the Locksmith project so you can know what's going on. It's where we are is amazing. So let me just try to break this down. As you know, we had clients that were locksmiths. We built like 3,000 websites for them, and then they turned around and incremented that out into about 7,000 total. And of those websites, they started making a lot of money. Those websites were spread across the nation. Okay, they get a lot of calls in, dispatch them out to the partners in each city around the nation, and that's literally what they have going on. Whether they're working with a few locksmiths that have lots of franchises or what, that's not for us to know, and it's not our business. We don't care. All we know is this: they will provide us the phone numbers that we put on our versions of websites for nationwide use, and then we get to collect a share of the sales. Now that's cool, and you might say, why is that? Because when they did the 7,000 websites, it was the old-fashioned way, themed to HTML that would produce one subdomain every 3 minutes. Okay, so 60 subdomains per website is 3 hours per website. 3 hours times 7,000 websites. 21,000 hours, right? That's insane. So then if they want to go back and make adjustments, it's about a minute per subdomain or an hour per website, 7,000 hours to update all 7,000 websites. That's just insane, right? Well, with the new way of doing it, we can control these websites in massive stacks like that, and we can continually automate the way we do that. As a matter of fact, by the time I get done showing you what we have now, you'll realize that your investment in the locksmith positions is insured, because you'll just realize this is cakewalk. I'm going to just start walking you through it. Okay, so let's see. Bear with me. I've got different pieces to show you, but I think you'll get it. So first of all, as you know, let me answer this. Payouts are like every 2 weeks. Payouts are every 2 weeks for the locksmith thing. We don't have to worry about whether they get paid or not. They're going to pay us according to the invoices, whether they get paid or not, because they aren't going to lose. They're not at all going to want to lose us as a lead share, especially because we know what we're doing. We made them all those websites before. Now we're making them for ourselves and selling them the leads. Because we have a dispatch center picking up all the leads, right? We're in great shape. Now, let me walk through this going forward, because this is a big deal. So almost half of the locksmith positions have been bought already, and people are asking, how does that affect payouts if nobody else were to buy any positions? I'll tell you. Imagine this kind of a curve here, XY graph, right? I'm not sure which side to show you on, so let me just do it this way anyway. This is the number of participants. The more the merrier, okay? Because that means the more participants, the more websites we can make, okay? So if you start too small, oh, that's why I want to say, now, the payout results like a bell curve, okay? But it's more of an elongated, extended outward, and then sliding down, kind of a bell curve. So I just want to put it this way. Too few participants, too few websites, not enough money, not much in the way of payouts. Get more participants, therefore more websites, then you get more profit. You get enough and you climb steeply until you pretty much curve into the bell curve area, the top part of the bell curve area. Now, that's where we are already. We needed 20 people to do 20 positions to do that. We're past that, okay? Quite past that. And about 50 positions is where the bell curve will be starting to slide down, and it's not beneficial. Because by the time you get enough websites out with these participants or these positions, we don't need more people coming in, because we can keep rolling over what we've got. We can make as many websites with the same number of participants. So we're going to close this off soon. But before I close it off, I want to give you guys, especially those of you who haven't even started yet, a last chance to decide how far you want to get into this game with the stuff we have going on right now. And so this video here, real quick, I'm just going to show you where this is going. For those of you who understand the value of it, you're going to love it. Here we go. Let me just make some points. One, mainroofer.com. As you know, that was our pioneer into this whole blitz approach. This was the first time we did a massive website, threw it out, and just said, Google, what do you think? We did very few variables. People were saying, you can't rank subdomains going like that. I said, yes, you can. They say, you can't even generate subdomains going like that. I'm like, yes, you can. They're like, Google won't accept subdomains like that. I said, yes, they will. They said, show us. All right. There's 39,000 results on this website. All of them is a different subdomain, okay? All right, that means 39,000 subdomains on this website. Now, so there are some inner pages, but there are like 40-odd thousand website, like 46,000 or something anyway, subdomains on this website. Now, here's the thing. We only did a few variables in that project. Each should not be indexing so well. And if you watch it over time, it goes up, down, up, down. And you might think, why is that? Here's why. Every time the robots come to the site, they see the sitemaps through the robots.txt file and go, oh, hey, look at all these pages, and throw them in Google. And Google goes, whoop, and we wind up with like 39,000 pages indexed. And then Google comes back through and reanalyzes and goes, wait a minute, not enough variability throughout these pages. And so the count jumps down to like 700. And then the robots.txt comes back around to the site. Robots come back to the site a day or two later and go, hey, look at all these pages, and throws them at Google, and it goes, whoop. And then Google goes, hey. So it goes up, down, up, down. Now, how do we stabilize that? Put more variability into the project. We haven't done it. Why? We've been busy with other things. So we haven't done it because of what we're doing now with the Locksmith project, because it's big. We have a single dispatch center who can buy anything and everything we can throw at them, and they will pay bi-weekly. That's massive, massive. Okay, because here we have to find partners for every single one of these in every single city if we want, and see if they're interested, right? Dispatch center, we don't have to find any more partners. The dispatch center was our nationwide partner, and we get a cut of the revenue that comes all the way through it. So let me make a point about that. Remember the original OCF.com when we were talking about the factoring project? This guy lives in Queen Anne, just not so far away from me, downtown Seattle, right? And he did this project, and he's been sitting in his basement on an old computer with the old Moji method of doing things. He's made himself a lot. When I saw him and we got talking, I asked, so how much are you making? He goes, I want to tell you. He goes, but let me explain it this way. Remember the last time we talked years ago? He goes, I was up to 17,000 a month then. He goes, you can imagine where I am now. He was like, okay, so I'm just putting a cap at 60,000 a month. I'm sure he could have done a lot more. I know he's fascinated with it. He keeps pounding on this. He keeps it up, and he loves it. He gets a cut of the revenue for all, I guess it's here, right? For everyone who calls and joins and starts up, and they land a deal and some money appears somehow, he gets a cut, right? He gets a cut from revenue, not by lead, because if the leads don't work for that company, they're not going to keep it up. But a cut of revenue, that's eternal. Everybody wants a cut of revenue. The company wants a cut of revenue, and they're willing to pay a cut of revenue to get leads in, okay? Just understand that. That's where we're going. The locksmiths do that. We made 3,000 websites for them. So let me show you a point about that as well, right? Matter of fact, let me show it here. I just want to make this point. Looking back over the past month, okay, this is really unique visits right here is the right column to look at to understand what's going on. Or even first-time visits if you want that, or returning visits. First-time visits, sorry. This is when somebody first arrived on the website. This is day by day, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Now, this is not for any one website. This is for about a quarter of the websites that we did for them around the nation, okay? We made these websites and they work together, okay? But this is daily. So if many of these guys happen to call through, because, hey, they're usually on a cell phone locked out of their office, their home, or their car. And so usually by the time they land here, they're going to call. Now, if you try to imagine even just 100 calls a day, and the profit per call is $50 on average, that's $5,000 a day. Now, if we were handing that to them, they'd be paying us like half, or $2,500 a day, if that's half of their profit. If you could imagine that. Now, it's not totally half of their profit because they have their guys at cubicles answering the phone. So it's a little less than that. But still, this is massive, ongoing, day by day, and we can scale it, okay? They quit even messing with these websites about 1.5 years ago, and this is what they're doing still, okay? So this is from old websites that haven't been touched in terms of SEO, because they just realized They're making more money inviting guys like us to bring leads to them and without them having to babysit the sites on an ongoing basis. Well, we can do that easily now with Blitz. All right, so let me get back to my other point. I just want to keep going. We have gotten very serious about the structure to make this thing fly. We wanted to automate it. And that's what's going to protect your investment, the ease with which we can do that now. Here's the point. For those of you who've never seen the back panel of one of these websites, right? We have controls for everything, okay? Because we wanted to create variability. You can have fluid layout or box layout for the style of the website, whether the site runs all the way across the screen or has a border on each side, okay? Enable the sidebar widget, yes or no. Put it left to right or even horizontally. And if we go horizontally, how many widgets in each row? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, or what? So we can create variability like you wouldn't believe. This is like 2 choices times 3 choices is 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on one of those. So just say 7 times whether the header is on or not, and all the variability that can go into that, times whether the click to text is on or not, times navigation, is that on or not, do we want it left, center, or right, times breadcrumbs going to be on or not, banner slider going to be on or not. Okay, if we do have the banner slider, how many slides do we want in the banner slider? I've got 5 here. Okay, do they take both video and image? Yes. Can we set the delay time for each slide to whatever we want? Yes. Okay. Services section, do we have it on or off? Yes or no? How many boxes per row before it wraps down to the next row and then the next row? And then when you say 3, but you happen to have 6, then yeah, you got 2 rows of 3, okay? Then what? About a section, on or off. Every section, how many sections do you want? Again, same kind of thing. And again, it'll wrap down for those. Then what? Logos, do you want that on or off? If so, you want the logos linking to where? One great thing about logos, guys, if we're doing this for Locksmiths, this is like a really fast way to get external links, okay? A link to the master company who makes the master locks, a link to the Schlage company who makes Schlage locks, a link to the Locksmith Association of America, etc., etc. All those logos can be like in a scrolling marquee on the site. That's how they would appear. And they each link to the different sources. That's external linking, okay? Totally desirable, right? Google loves that kind of thing when it's done right. Okay, now what? Form section for the bottom. Do we want, and the form section is like where we have our contact form, company information, and map. Do we want all 3 of those, or just 2 of them, or 1 of them? And if so, for the map, do we want it to be an image or a live map? Okay, all of this is totally under our control. Do we want the pre-footer section on or off? Yes or no, right? So all of this is completely and utterly up to us, right? Thought I had the pre-footer section on. And the footer sections, right? Do we want a menu in the footer section? Okay, let me just update that real quick. I want to make a point though. Aha, I gotta log in. All right, so anyway, here, let me just move on because I do have to go get my kid here in about 5 minutes. We have 2 major templates that we're using for this project that we have been thoroughly error checking. What do I mean by that? All right, screw it. Let me just point this out. If you've never seen this, many of you haven't, you'll never know. We have so many variables built into our content management system to make our templates and automatically make them. You won't believe it. So global variables are global variables, right? Whatever and however many we choose to put in here run throughout the site. Images, gallery, images, categories, video list, sidebars, but the things that, so all of these provide incredible variability. And the thing I want to say beyond that is this. Theme settings is where I was already, right? There's so many individual controls on here, and we have so much variety that we can make websites with just from this. And with that in mind, that just from this part, now let me go ahead and enable that pre-footer while I'm here. Kind of anal about things like that. Typography. For all of these sections, any of them that we enable or disable, we have color controls, background image controls, text controls. We can do an infinite number of colors, link color, hover color, link hover color, all the different kinds of fonts you could possibly imagine, right? Size control, normal or bold, how bolded, normal or italicized, for every different thing, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, 4, paragraph, separator colors, box, background, layover, shadow, hover, content block, whatever you can imagine. Look at all those things just for the breadcrumb, okay? Then just for the header, and then the navigation bar below the header to choose home or about us or services pages, all right? And opacity, right? For setting opacity of sub menu dropdowns. We can do transparent for a color choice for anything. So you can have a sub menu dropdown with the words in the font you want, the color you want, the heaviness, the size you want, but they seem to float in the air. But you can still have a divider between them so that they look very professional, because we even have divider color control. Okay, banner styles, everything about how the banner is supposed to be, including the height of the banner, how much of the page it takes up. Services section, about us section, this goes on and on. Parallax for the background image, if we have one, do we enable parallax or not? I could enable parallax. And if I do, you can see that on the website. Totally under our control. All the sidebar color styles changes, right? Map section style changes, everything. Pre-footer section style footer and back to top. Now, the next point I want to make about that, for those of you who don't know, variability equals incredible power in this industry. It's the biggest thing of power is variability. So look, we have general settings, theme settings, typography settings. We have pages, we have images and sidebars and stuff, right? What do you think all of this is controllable by? Excel. General settings tab for all the general settings options that we know how to run this thing automatically. We created this long ago. We did this for Locksmiths. Now we're going to use this ourselves to drive them leads. All of these are variables. Everything you see here, color variable, content variable, placement of sidebars, flipping sidebars around variable, everything is variable. Typography settings, every font, every color, whether it repeats, whether parallax is enabled, totally controllable in Excel. For those who don't understand what the value of that is yet, I'll put it this way. Every page, and whether the parent page, the sidebar should show or not, what the parent page is or not, sidebar widgets, which order they come in, what the content of each page is, meta description, meta keywords code in the header, code in the body, page by page, okay? All of these controls, okay? And sidebars, every possible sidebar and which one should be enabled on which page, we can control from here. All of our global variables we can control from here. All right. Now, if you're wondering what the value of all that is, we can create a website for every row. You could say another one here, another one here, another one here. And you might think, wow, that's got to be hard. The answer is no. Long ago, we built a toolbar to make all of this definitely easy. Okay. Here's where we are today. We are error proofing 2 types of these templates. Okay, and by doing the error proofing, then we have perfect templates, and we are virtually done. One more day, we're done with a type of template that's full width banner and a type that's banner blocks. From these templates, we can make automated variations, because we are literally reconstructing what you see here into SQL for automated generation of materials, contents, color schemes, everything else, according to patterns, like from a color palette. Okay, so let me explain. Oh, by the way, if it sounds like it's going to take us forever to launch, it won't. Let me just show you real fast some variations. This is the simplest idea of a web page, minimalism. Okay, header, subheader, paragraph opener, paragraph, another paragraph opener, paragraph, another paragraph opener, paragraph, and that's it. We can do that with the same thing I was just showing you. Here's another example of what we can do. Okay. Totally, we can go full width. All right. And we can have a point be made like that. And if I come out, okay, I'm just going to click off for a minute. That's really all I want to do. Okay. Click off the image. Sorry, I don't mean to cover it up. This goes on. Let me refresh it real quick just to make another point. Because it's not just, oh, that's right. It's not just images, it's videos as well. I've changed the settings, so I shouldn't have refreshed it. Let me show you a hybrid. Here's one example of a hybrid. We have the stuff at the top. Actually, if you just wait a minute, you'll see the video kick back in, but we can do this with video. Images, we can make the whole thing full width. Okay, so we can do variations like this. And each one of these will point to where you want, and it'll click to where you want. And this thing will not go anywhere if I'm hovering anywhere inside this banner. It will wait for me. Okay, now another one. Look at this. We can go a little further. We can add more sections down below, get people kicked off, and add more stuff. By now, you see a lot more things happening here, right? Let me show you even more. Okay, I'm just showing you different versions. Look at this. We have everything here, so to speak. Check this out, right? We've gone all out. Look at the material that's happening here and everything that's going on here. And it occurs to you how much variability there is in all of this. Whether this shows up and or this and or that. Whichever ones of these show up and what goes there and in which order and which widgets do we want. Item by item by item. And references for the pages that we have and so on and so forth. And all this works with global variables, everything. Okay, now what? This and the banner blocks, almost totally done. And we're going to create our variation templates. We're going to create a storehouse of like 20 structures of the templates. Okay, so that's that. Now I want to point out, I got to go soon. Let me point out the rest of this. You're never going to get it. Okay, check this out. We've also been working on the images, image generation. Check this out. That's a pretty cool image, right? Beaumont, that's any city, any state, Beaumont. Emergency locksmith. We also provide 24/7 services. Look at this. Fighting for images is a big issue on Google. Trying to locate or get stock images is expensive, or create your own by cropping other ones and getting them resized is a pain. And trying to find, remove file properties and all that. What if we could create our own images? Well, that's just it. This is an image Google's never seen before. That's an image Google's never seen before. That's an image Google's never seen before. But do you know what's funny? We have set this up so that we can automate this. There's such a thing as that. We can batch process the combinations of background images. So we just need a few, like one for emergency, one for commercial, one for residential, one for automotive. And then we've got these kinds of layers that we can choose to randomly place in different combinations. And we've got comments like this. Yeah, I got to drive off soon. That we can put in comments like that. And then variables like the city name. Okay, so this isn't quite done yet. We still have to, I have to get a team now to be able to set up this whole automation, but we are close. Let me just show you what I mean though. So that could be for the emergency page of any one Locksmith website or any set of Locksmith websites. In other words, we don't need a lot of images to create unlimited variables. Look at this. See this? That's a unique image. That's a totally different one. That's a totally different one. For Google, these are not the same. Okay? They're not the same. Now, isn't this cool? Look at this. Okay? And to show you the last stack, we've just been playing around with the combinations to get this point made, to get closer and closer to what we're after. So we're creating all the variables necessary to overlay onto any background images that we want. Because imagine, we can use this whole structure that we just did for any image where the action is on this side of the image. See? So you know what? By the time we're finished, and this is what you guys have been funding, is all this development and organization and error proofing and layout of variables. That's what's going to ensure your investment too. We can create about 5,000 of these a day. Oh, and with one image. So, let's say we did 1,000 of these, 1,000 of those, 1,000 of those, 1,000 of those. Okay? We only needed 4 images and a CSV file with the right city names and stuff. And we just auto create all those images. So in a day, we can create 1,000. We can use them for any combination of websites, right? That leads to my next point. We are taking care of the content with the variability built in, similar to the way this factoring guy did it. This guy here, I asked him at one point, honestly, I said, how many unique copywriting jobs do you get for your websites? Since he's got like 400 websites. He goes, I don't do unique copywriting jobs. He goes, I paid once. Well, he built up over time, but he paid once for large chunks of content to be written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. And then he mixes and matches all those variables along with the color schemes, the template background organization, and all the image combinations. So when you have tons of content variables and tons of image variables and tons of template variables and you mix and match them, you can auto-generate all those sites and they're unique and Google likes it. And you can interlink them with sensible, we learned, backlinking. So we can do touch and go backlinking, real sensible and easy, okay? Now, this is massive. This really means that we can do a lot of this so sensibly. Let me make this point. Here we go with this part too. This has been happening in parallel to everything else. So we got content happening here, images happening there, template proofing and variation generation here for all the different color combinations and power, because we're going to have like 20 versions of the first template structure layout, 20 versions of the second one. They're all going to be hard hitting and they're all going to have the call to action, especially in the header with the phone number and everything. They're going to be built that way because it's important. If you land on that on a mobile phone, you should sure as heck see how to call somebody pretty quick. Now, here's the cool part. We can pick up domain names. Say I got 50 Locksmith domains, put them in here with the variables that we're building in. Here's the goal. I can hit go, and it'll take about 2 minutes per website. It will create everything. It will use the images we have in the repository in whatever combination we want. It will use the content we have in the Moji var sheets to auto-generate the totally unique versions of the websites. So it will use the combination of templates we say with the variations of images we want, with the auto-generated content times all the subdomains that we want, entry by entry. So we're just going to straight say, create this website, put 20,000 pages on it. Create that website, put 17,000 pages on it. Create this one and put 39,462 pages on it. Use this template, those images, and that var sheet. Use this template, those images, and that var sheet. It's insane. Here's the biggest thing I can point out to you, because this is crazy. This guy gave me his files. Okay, I'm not going to share them with you, the source files, right? For his 400 websites. And he gave them to me so that we could build this for him, automated, blitz faction. And at one point I said, as I realized what happened, where we are, I just told him, the weirdness of growth, right? Say, you've been building for how many years now? Like, I don't know. Let me see. We started Moji in 2007. 2008. All right, 2008 till now. You're talking about 10 or 11 years of Moji. So what took you 10 years to build, or 9? What if I told you I could build that in a day? What if I told you it would take me like 2 minutes to build each of the websites that you built automatically? I can set the thing going, hit go. I can literally upload the Excel file with the domain names, the templates, the content, the image structure, groups for all of those, hit go, walk away. And everything that got generated here is literally done in like, 2 minutes per website? Times 400 websites is 800 minutes. Let's say 900. You got 15 hours. I can recreate 10 years worth of work in 15 hours once I have the whole structure set up properly. So what are the costs when you can do that afterwards? Well, basically domain names, dedicated IP addresses, wildcard SSLs, servers. which, you know, one server holds a lot of these. So the expansion we can do is cheap and under our control. And every one of the websites we generate, unlike this, well, like this now, but on for all the ones that he used it on, the Blitz, we'll have the admin control panel complete with the ability to go in there and make any adjustments to any of those websites for all the stacks of pages all at the same time. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Did we even do one on this yet? Because we've still been working. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. See all this? All of these sitemaps here, for all these different cities here, for all of these different terms here, and all of them have their own like automotive page or emergency page or whatever it is. There's some store with some address, you know, with all the stuff built in. Can you imagine that? With whatever variables we had for this particular thing. All of this that we auto-generated on one domain, we're going to be able to auto-generate all of it. Now, if you're wondering what's happening with your money, it's building that power. What's the advantage of the power? It ensures that we get rich. We can make the websites and make as many more as we want. For all the guys who decided to say yes and get into this project, you guys are going to be the sole beneficiaries. We get 20% at house, you get 80% split across you. You're along for the ride, but we will just keep auto-generating. How far can we take it? This is the beauty. We did a lot of stuff for different industries here before, and we had calls coming in. But every time the businesses were answering the phone, very many of them were unprofessional. Very many calls went to voicemail, even though the guy swore they wouldn't let that happen. Now, that's not a problem anymore. Now, we've got a dispatch center that can handle, say you had 170 guys, let's think per day. Say you had, well, no, let's think per shift. 175 guys can handle what? At 5 minutes per call, like 12 calls an hour, 2,100 calls an hour. 2,100 calls an hour times, that's 16 hours out of the day. That's 33,000 calls. Then you got 500 guys a night times, you know, 12 hours, 6,000 more. Like 40,000 calls a day. Okay. If our share comes to 20 bucks times 40,000, if we kept pushing it and just growing upward, I don't know what to tell you. That's like an $800,000 a day split. Okay, I find that far-fetched. But do we have the ability to absolutely stretch our elbows all the way out in that arena? Yes. You guys are helping us build the project parameters to such a degree that we can keep auto-generating at minimal cost. Okay? So we will win. That's just it. We will win. All right, I will say that's your explanation for where we're going and why it really ensures your investment in this Locksmith group. And for all of you who got shares, thank you so much. Without doing that, if you didn't get positions, we couldn't do this. Okay, this is a lot of work. For all of you guys who want to get involved, this is your last chance. Probably this is your last chance, because very soon we're going to have all this stuff done. And once we start rolling with it, we're not going to need anyone else in this group. And for those of you who want the doors shut, get more of the positions yourself so that we can finally say we got enough. Or those of you who want in, better move. But for those of you who are in, it's going to cap out so that you guys know what you're getting. And the math will be easy. Every time the invoice comes out, every 2 weeks, it's like, duh, you know, your share is, you know, each position gets its cut out of the 80%. Okay, so just do the math from there. If you have one position, it's this. If you have two, it's double that. If you have three, it's double that. If you have four, it's double that. These are one-time costs. You guys are making it possible for us to build, for one-time costs, ongoing revenue streams. Then what do you think we're going to do? Turn around and start doing this for the other industries. We got a lot to go after. We got dispatch centers for pretty much everything across the U.S. We can start reaching out to all of them and build likewise in each image. Fast, and we can use the same templates, the frameworks, right, that we already created. We just create new images. One day, we're done. And create a new round of content that we can use for unlimited websites. You know, a few days, we're done. Okay? All right, I think you get it. I got to run. I got a kid to pick up. Get your positions. If you haven't done it yet, get them. If you're wondering how to do it, this is it. Last time I'm pointing this out, I think. HTTP gettrialleads.com/LPE. That's where you go and sign up. And then after you sign up, I think you can use a S. I think you can go with secured. After you sign up, just in case you care. After you sign up, go to gettrialleads.com/admin and log in as an LPE owner. Okay? Because that's what the whole LPE is all about. Yeah, it's my kid going, where am I? And when you log in, that's when you can look and see the positions. Just buy them. They're all the same. Whatever's open and available, snatch them. It doesn't matter whether you get number 9 or 12 or 23 or what. Just get whatever you want to get. Okay? That's how you lock yourself into this game, and this is huge. For the guys who are coming along with us, this is amazing. I already know those guys. They're making a ton, and this is a huge opportunity that fell in our lap to climb on board. So let's do it. Once we build this, we can show any other industry what we can do for them, and they're going to say, hell yeah, and we're just going to build likewise for them too.